September 6, 2024. Friday of the 22nd week in Ordinary Time. A reading from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. Brethren, this is how one should regard us, as servants of Christ and stewards of the mysteries of God. Moreover, it is required of stewards that they be found faithful. But with me it is a very small thing that I should be judged by you or by any human court. In fact, I do not even judge myself. For I am not aware of anything against myself, but I am not thereby acquitted. It is the Lord who judges me. Therefore do not pronounce judgment before the time, before the Lord comes, who will bring to light the things now hidden in darkness and will disclose the purposes of the heart. Then each one will receive his commendation from God. The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm Response. From the Lord comes the salvation of the just. Trust in the Lord and do good. Then you will dwell in the land and safely pasture. Find your delight in the Lord, who grants your heart's desire. From the Lord comes the salvation of the just. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will act. And make your uprightness shine like the light. The justice of your cause like the noonday sun. From the Lord comes the salvation of the just. Then turn away from evil and do good, and you may abide forever. For indeed, the Lord loves justice, and will never forsake His faithful. The unjust shall be wiped out forever, and the descendants of the wicked destroyed. From the Lord comes the salvation of the just. But from the Lord comes the salvation of the just, their stronghold in time of distress. The Lord helps them and rescues them. Rescues and saves them from the wicked, because they take refuge in Him. From the Lord comes the salvation of the just. Alleluia, Alleluia. I am the light of the world, says the Lord, whoever follows me will have the light of life. Alleluia. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, the Pharisees and the scribes said to Jesus, the disciples of John fast often and offer prayers, and so do the disciples of the Pharisees, but yours eat and drink. And Jesus said to them, Can you make wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them? The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast in those days. He also told them a parable, No one tears a piece from a new garment and puts it on an old garment. If he does, he will tear the new, and the piece from the new will not match the old. And no one puts new wine into old wineskins. If he does, the new wine will burst the skins and it will be spilled, and the skins will be destroyed. But new wine must be put into fresh wineskins. And no one after drinking old wine desires new, for he says, The old is good. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflection. Friday, 22nd week in Ordinary Time. In this morning's Gospel reading, Jesus refers to Himself as the bridegroom. In answering the question why His disciples do not fast, Jesus says that the bridegroom's attendants cannot be made fast while the bridegroom is still with them. Jesus' ministry is like the joy of a wedding feast. Fasting is not appropriate, but it will become appropriate when Jesus is taken away, after His death and resurrection. Our Gospel reading is taken from the Gospel of Luke. John's Gospel also refers to Jesus as a bridegroom. In that Gospel, John the Baptist refers to himself as the friend of the bridegroom who rejoices greatly at the bridegroom's voice. Like John, we are all called to be friends of the bridegroom who rejoice at the bridegroom's voice, who rejoice in the presence of the bridegroom. Later on in John's Gospel, Jesus says to His disciples, I no longer call you servants, I call you friends. The bridegroom was taken away, as Jesus says in today's Gospel reading, but He was raised from the dead and is present among us until the end of time. Like John the Baptist, we are friends of the bridegroom who live in His presence and who rejoice greatly at His voice, at the many ways He speaks to us and is present to us.